If you want to persuade anyone that vegan cake can be better than animal-based cake, then this is the recipe that's going to do it. I'm going to start with a combo that everybody loves, peanut butter, chocolate and banana, and I'm going to make a series of small improvements that will together combine to make a really big difference. Let's get into it. Now, I want a really deep, rich, intense flavour for my muffins, so the first little change I'm going to make compared to most peanut butter chocolate recipes is I'm going to use 70% dark chocolate for my recipe, or you could use one of those new vegan milk chocolates that are now available, but you're looking for little drops like this. So if you've got a big bar, chop into little pieces, and I'm using 100 grams of that, which I'm going to fold through as an addition to my batter once it's finished mixing. For the decoration on top, I'm going to use 24 grams of the same dark chocolate, and as we're going to drizzle this on later, I'm going to melt this over a bowl of hot water. Finally, on the prep, I'm going to use some very ripe bananas, something like this, and I'm going to use 135 grams of these, and I'm going to mash them with a fork in a little bowl. Onto my wet mix ingredients and sugar. Firstly, I'm going to use 202 grams of demerara sugar. Nothing new there, that's quite typical for this kind of recipe. But then I'm going to go a little bit left field, and for the second ingredient that makes a big difference to this recipe, I'm going to use blackstrap molasses. Now this stuff is mighty strong. I'm going to use just 13 grams of this in the recipe, and if you don't want to use this, then I would use maple syrup at a push, golden syrup if you have to. But if you can track it down, this is really responsible for that deep, rich, intense flavour, so it'll be worth finding. Plant milk, I'm going to use 93 grams of oat milk. Apple cider vinegar, I'm going to use 18 grams. Peanut butter, 84 grams. I'm using crunchy, but you can use smooth if you prefer. And then when it comes to oil, this is my third small change here that adds to the deep flavour. I'm going to use a blend of 67 grams of sunflower oil and 17 grams of olive oil. Finally, I'm going to add the mashed bananas into my bowl, and I'm going to mix for 6 minutes on speed 3 with a whisk attachment. And whilst that's mixing, as usual, we're going to weigh out our dry ingredients. We're going to get the oven pre-warmed to 170 degrees C, and we're going to get our muffin tins and our tulip cases ready to go. So we're going to check on our chocolate now, see how it's melting. Yeah, that looks great. My dry ingredients are all weighed out, and this is where my final change comes in compared to other recipes. I'm going to use pea protein. Check out my other video if you want to find out why pea is the key. But I'm going to use 21 grams of pea protein in this recipe. I'm going to use 116 grams of white spelt. I'm using 2 grams of sea salt and 8 grams of baking powder. Standard procedure, I'm going to sieve this. I'm going to help through the last bit of flour with a brown scraper and then stir through by hand for a uniform colour. So as soon as the wet mix is finished, I'm going to change my whisk attachment for a paddle. I'm going to add the dry ingredients into the bowl, and I'm going to mix for 30 seconds on speed 1. Once that's finished, I'm going to add in half my dark chocolate chips, give it a quick stir. I'm going to add in the other half of the chocolate chips and stir again. Now you can portion these by eye, or if you're a bit nerdy like me, then the best way to make sure there's no lightweights is to weigh them as you're scooping, and you're looking for 145 grams. Another little nerdy nugget, if you're making a big batch of these, then keep an eye on the chocolate distribution throughout the batter and give it a quick stir as you're scooping it, otherwise you'll have all the good stuff in just 1 or 2 muffins. Final step before the oven, we're going to drizzle on some melted chocolate just to make them look pretty, and use a spoon to give them a little swirl. Bake them for 30 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. Well, our muffins are out of the oven and they look really pretty. I'm going to dive straight in. You can see the little bits of crunchy peanut butter in there, look. And the chunks of chocolate as well. And the crumb feels really moist. Just tuck in. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, it's got a lovely, deep, rich, intense flavour. Excuse me. And what's interesting here is there's no dominant flavour. The three main ingredients really come together well. They all play their part, so if you didn't love banana, you could still love these muffins. If you didn't love peanut butter, you'd still love these muffins, and I've never met anybody who doesn't like chocolate, so that means pretty much everybody will love these muffins. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did. I'll put a link to the recipe in the description below. I hope you make it at home because this one will persuade anyone. You can ditch the eggs and butter and still have big, big flavour. Cheers for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.